Sorry. I'm not trying to wear this because then you can't see the logo from here. And I don't want to wear the hoodie because it's hot, bro. Anyway, right now the lighting is very unstable. If it just goes out, sorry. But anyway, I know I said I'm going to talk about Fluffy. He's at the end, all right? We're talking about Saturday as a whole. This is an entirely new video format. I don't know if it's going to work out or something like that, but as of recording, it was like 6 days ago, 5 days ago, whatever. It was on the last Saturday from, I hope this is being uploaded. We went to Chicago the day before. We booked a hotel at a Hilton place, so that's pretty cool. Me and my brother got our own room, so we were hanging out there for a little while. It was pretty cool. I stayed up watching episodes of Daredevil because, you know, the new show's being put out, you know, so I gotta catch up since I never watched it originally. But eventually the new day came and we were gonna do two things. Number one, we were gonna watch the river getting dyed. Well, three things actually, because we're gonna watch the river getting dyed, then we're gonna watch the parade, and then we're gonna watch the show. I didn't want to do number two. The parade sucked. Well, for me it did because I was on my feet the whole day and it hurt. My feet hurt, bruh. So I didn't really like it that much. But seeing the river getting dyed, that was pretty cool. I'm gonna be completely honest. That was kind of cool. Behind where we were standing, there was a DJ. I think he had really loud speakers, so like we could hear his music from behind us. That was pretty funny. It was across the street too, which was the streets there are pretty big. So by the time we got there, a lot of people were already there, so we were kind of in the back. But you know, since my whole family's pretty tall, it wasn't that big of an issue. So you know, we're just built different, you know. But I still had to hold my phone up all the way to like as high as I could, because that was the only way my phone could capture anything. So if you ever see me in the future putting my fingers over the screen, that's because I didn't know where it was pointing, because you know, I couldn't see. Regardless, I think it's the first time I've seen it get dyed, so that was pretty cool. There were, I think, bagpipes being played during it, and you could probably hear them every now and again. So that was kind of funny. There was also this guy near us, I think, who was just waving around a big ol' Irish flag, or maybe that was during the parade. I don't know, at some point during the day that was happening. A little while after this, we actually saw a guy dressing up as St. Patrick, so that was really funny. He was a big old guy in a green suit. He was just chill, bro. He was so chill. He also ended up in the parade. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it was really cool. He was just hanging out with everyone else, having a good time. So yeah, that was fun to see. On our way back to the hotel, we stopped by some, I don't really know how to put it, but there were these guys with exotic animals on display, and you could pay to take a picture with them on your like hand. So that was pretty cool. We saw two of them, and apparently both of them were deaf. So that was really interesting. We stopped by the second one, and since my brother he's also deaf, he was able to have a short conversation with them. So that was pretty cool. I don't have any pictures, but the bird was blue. It was a parrot, I think. I don't really know. Yeah, then we went back to our room. We packed up. We went back down. We had to go back to the parking lot where we left our car. And that was when I thought that we were gonna go to the show or like just chill out for a few hours, but not. We had to go to the parade. I didn't want to go to the parade, bro. It was hot, and I didn't want to be on my feet all day. Alas, you can't always get what you want. So I just grabbed a whole big old bottle of orange juice, because you know I drink them by the container, not the serving size, because you know I'm a grown boy, you know. And we went on our merry way. Well, most of us were merry at least. It was an uncomfortable mix of wind and heat. So like I was sweating under my shirt, but at the same time the gusts of wind would make it uncomfortable to just take it off and be on the all tank top, you know. Regardless, we trudged through it all and eventually ended up at a good spot to watch the parade. I was able to stand for like a couple hours. There was at one point, it was really crowded, you know, on both sides, I think. At one point, it was so crowded, like we had, me, my dad, and my brother all had to just like interlock arms to keep my mom from just getting trampled over by us. Because they were pushing hard, man. But yeah, eventually my feet were starting to give out. I just couldn't take it anymore, so I had to take a seat. And I'm gonna be completely honest, the parade wasn't that interesting. It was mostly just old people on floats, you know. Which, yeah, I guess there was also the occasional, like, float for, like, the workers and stuff like that. Which, you know, that shows appreciation, I guess. But, like, I didn't find that interesting, you know. We were on the curb, or, like, just, like, right on the curb. So, eventually, at some points in time, I would just, you know, sit down on the curb while everyone else was watching it. So, I couldn't see when I was sitting down. But, you know, again, it wasn't that interesting, so. They were throwing out a lot of trinkets. My dad kept trying to encourage me to grab one, but again, I was really tired. I did not want to do that, so nah. Yeah, a few hours passed by, and then the parade was done. I felt like my feet were gonna fall off, but we ended up with, you know, a few trinkets of our own. And there was this guy handing out like little they've stained the rivers green. I guess you could call them pamphlets of like fun facts of St. Patrick and stuff. Apparently his name isn't Patrick, and he wasn't from Ireland. Woo. But yeah, then we walked back to the car. We got something to eat for a little bit, and then we just went immediately to the stadium. No, they weren't letting us in to, you know, go get our seats or anything, so we were just chilling in the parking lot, which, you know, in hindsight was a really good idea because it got so packed so fast. Yeah, I think doors opened at like 8, so we got there at like maybe 5, maybe 6, I don't really remember, but we just took a nap, you know. We just rested until the doors were open. At some point we all realized that people were lining up at like 7:30, so we decided to get there before things got bad, so we made good time. It runs green. The doors open, and then boom, total chaos. Well, not really total chaos, but like, you know, organized chaos. Woo! Alright, yeah, I think that's it. Bye-bye. We managed to get in line for the merchandise just in time. There's a lot of stuff on sale. Obviously, there was this. There was a hat with a similar design. And then, there were these little things, the hoodies. There were also shirts, but like, I don't wear shirts that often. Well, I don't wear shirts nearly as much as I wear hoodies, so I can't put this back up, man. Whatever. This is gonna be with me now, I guess. They had mystery boxes also, and a golden Funko Pop, which was pretty cool. Apparently, I already have one. Well, I mean, you guys can't see it, but you guys remember how I had the whole Funko Pop collection over there? Well, let me just show you. Somewhere around here. I don't know if you guys can see them, but my mom bought shelves from the dollar store. And now I got 8 of these guys all hanging in my room. So it's pretty neato. So that's pretty cool. And apparently one of them was on sale during the show. So that was nice. I think my mom bought a shirt that like said I was there in the Chicago show, and a magnet, which is currently on our garage door. So that's pretty nice. But of course, the most important part is the beanie, the hoodie, and the hat, which my brother has. But he really doesn't wear hats that often, so I hope I can, you know, grab it, you know, grab it. Regardless, with that, we went up to our seats, which was in the second floor. We got ourselves some expensive popcorn and soda. I don't know how much it cost. I don't know how much any of this cost. Well, I know the hoodie was like $70, but thankfully, you know, we're well off in the money standards. So we were able to afford that stuff. But the popcorn, the food, I assumed the concessions were like extremely expensive, like movie theater levels of expensive, but like proportional to it, like a stadium. So it must have been bad. Regardless, we sat down and I watched a little PowerPoint presentation constantly flip through different fluffy facts. I realized they didn't have enough to nearly supply the whole waiting time, but that's all right. You know, it was more than enough. And eventually, the show began. I was gonna record the beginning part, but at the same time, I knew it was a waste of time because it was gonna be the same thing. It was like a whole sports announcement where he was like, "Oh, I'm in the speakers. I'm in the loudspeakers. Oh, you better not be recording any of my jokes or else." And stuff like that. It's basically the same thing as the Mexico City one, except, you know, bigger. Speaking of Mexico City, I brought the stuff from the show. Hold on. All right, there you go. I brought the merchandise we got from that show to the Chicago one, and he brought it up. I didn't think he'd acknowledge it, but that was pretty cool. Yeah, then the show began. Obviously, Martine kept coming in and out and introducing us to different comedians. I don't remember any of their names. I'm sorry, but they were pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie. And then the guy himself came out, and it was a good time overall. He occasionally referenced the fact that he went to Mexico City, and you know, it was the only time he went to Mexico.
Seats, we're not here to destroy families, we're here to enrich lives. All right, everybody, start waving them.
At one point in time, he said that he was afraid to go to Mexico City. And then apparently a girl near, like, in the front row shouted out, "Because you don't want to die." And then, well, let's just say they weren't very happy with each other. And eventually the girl got kicked out. That was funny. But yeah, the more and more he referenced the fact that he went to Mexico City, I was just like, "Ugh, I want to say that I was there." But I was too embarrassed to scream it out. Eventually I did, kind of, but it was weak. And so he didn't hear me. All I could do was say, "Woo!" And, you know. A shame. But yeah, I mean, the likelihood to have been at the Mexico City one, his only Mexico City show, and then to the freaking Chicago one, that's a very rare chance. Probability, you know the word. So, you know, I felt really unique and stuff, and I wanted to express that. Alas, I was too embarrassed.
Anything You guys seriously have been incredible tonight. We love you, Chicago.
But yeah, you know, he cracked some jokes. We laughed at the jokes. Eventually, the show finished. A few of the jokes, they were from the time in Mexico City. And on top of that, most of the, or a good portion of the ones from the Netflix special he did recently were from the one from Mexico City. And I was really pumped up about that. I was like, hey, wait a minute, I heard these jokes before. Yo, that's so cool. I think legally I can't really disclose what the individual jokes were, but they were funny.
For making this happen tonight.
And I think that was the whole day. We drove back home. I was EP, and yeah, it was a pretty fun Saturday. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, sorry I didn't post last week. That was the main reason why. But I guess that's the end of the video. Honestly, I don't know if this format is gonna work the way I hope it will. Regardless, that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you like this video. Leave a comment if you like this video. Most importantly, subscribe. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed this very interesting new format of video I might continue doing later on in life. I probably won't, because this was really time consuming. I say that as the clock ticks to 60 minutes of yapping. Whatever. I hope you guys enjoyed it anyway. And remember to keep on training. Escaping gravity, starlight dances in the silver of the night sky. Way above the clouds we will be sailing.